Welcome back in. We are getting to know our community and the leaders within them each week. And this afternoon, we are excited to welcome Maumee Mayor Rich Carr to learn a little bit more about him and the city of Maumee. Thanks so much for joining us, Rich.
Thank you.
Let's start. We ask the same question to every mayor who comes in for Mayor Monday. So what got you inspired to work in city government?
I grew up in Maumee. And like many children in Maumee, I was the first in my family to have the opportunity to go to college and graduate from college. And so I then went on to law school. So with a bachelor's in political science and a doctorate in law, I felt I could contribute to my hometown, and I've just stayed there.
What for you is your favorite thing about living in Maumee?
Living in Maumee, I think it's the closeness of the people. We are not a transient community by any means. People stay there for generations, but new families are welcome. Right now, about 25% of our population is actually under 5 years of age. So we're seeing a real resurgence in new families in Maumee as well as families that have been there for generations. And so you get to know each other. By the time you go to high school, you already know all your classmates. So it's kind of a small town feeling, but a bigger city as well.
What's one thing that, as your time as mayor, that you've done that you're proud of?
There's a number of things, but I think from a regional, the water agreement we reached with all the communities and forming a water agreement that involving the city of Toledo and all the suburban communities, that had been tried to be accomplished for over 40 years unsuccessfully. And we came together and we got that done. For Maumee, more specifically, it's the development of the side cut crossings and our Uptown renovation. The side cut crossing started with a $34 million cancer center, and our Uptown revitalization is going to rejuvenate our city.
That leads me to the next question. I know everyone talks about it, the road work on Conant and in Uptown Maumee along the trail as well is one thing a lot of people talk about as needing fixed. You guys with the city have said that it'll help with the traffic and timing lights and everything. So for you, how is that going? We know that there's still construction on the trail right there too.
Right. The trail, the 4 lanes in the trail should be open soon. The Conant Street, we're already realizing a much smoother traffic flow. We have some periods of time where it backs up, but as soon as the light turns, it pretty much clears through. And so it's working as we anticipated it would. We had to rejuvenate our Uptown. Our buildings were starting to decay, they were getting damaged by semis, and we took advantage of historic low interest rates. Our bonds that we sold were under 2%. And that enabled us to do all these projects, and in 2025, our annual bond payments will be less than before we started all these projects. So it was a good time. We had the foresight to tackle them all at the same time, which made it very difficult. But in the end, our community is going to flourish, and we are in sound financial shape. What's
one thing that you think needs work in this city?
I think that one of the areas that we can improve on is communication. We recently did a city newsletter, and that city newsletter was far more expansive than what it's been in the past, explaining the finances of government, explaining what we're doing and why we're doing it, and I think that we can do a better job moving forward with that. On a regional level, I think it's just a matter of talking with each other, not when a community maybe has an agenda, but just getting together and talking. I did that with the mayors of Perrysburg and Sylvania throughout my time in office, and we had some really good conversations. And when we all came together to work on the regional water agreement, we had that same relationship. And I think the area would benefit if they would just sit down on a regular basis and communicate.
Are there any projects or developments, we only have about 30 seconds going on in Maumee, that you'd like to share about?
Yeah, we have our biggest economic development surge in years. We have buildings going in throughout the entire city, Arrowhead Park, Uptown Maumee, Reynolds Road coming in from Toledo. So it's spread out throughout the city. And that economic development, and on top of that, we have our first ever senior living and first ever assisted living. We have 3 senior citizen facilities coming in. We never had any before. And we're seeing upscale apartments, condominiums, and working wage apartments coming in as well. So we're going to see a real increase in our population and in our economic development in the next 2 years.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us,
Thank
Rich.
you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Still to